You're listening to Almost Beach Glass Interviews. I'm Gil. I'm really interested in the creative process. Today, my guest is...
My name's Wes Jones. I'm from Cedar Woolley, Washington, Skagit County, and I front Lazy Acres.
What advice do you have for aspiring artists?
Oh my goodness. If there's one thing that I could really say, it would just be to be unapologetically you, and every opportunity that you get to present yourselves, leave it all out there. That's a motto that we've always lived by in Lazy Acres. It doesn't matter if we're playing a dive bar or a big event with over 1,000 people or so. We always play everyone with the exact same intensity and the exact same drive. Because if you're going to do something and you're going to present yourself a product, essentially, go out and do it. Go for it.
I think that's something I've definitely seen consistent with you guys, of just your presence around town, of that, from how often you guys play to your stage presence to music videos. When you guys are on, you guys are absolutely on. Like, it's go time.
Absolutely. It's a brief moment in time that we get to act like we don't get to act. We get to know that we're the coolest people in the world. we get to put it on every time.
So I don't know you well at all, but just from our brief conversation, you sound like a humble, self-aware dude, but undeniably confident.
I try to be, at least when it comes to art. It's a thing. I'm not a young man anymore. And so it's a thing that I've done for, we've put a lot of work into. So when it comes to that, yeah, definitely, I would say, you want to, that's like you said with performance, especially, I like to put myself out there like it's, like we're the coolest people in the world. If you make your way through life with a little blind confidence, you might be able to find a blind squirrel could find a nut every once in a while type of thing.
Dude, I like it, and I would like to break off a nugget of that for myself. Where does that come from?
I don't know. Maybe my upbringing or it could be. Especially with maybe with the group of friends that I typically surround myself with. We support each other and we uplift each other so much. Typically that we all like to have it makes it easier to be confident in who you are and what you do.
So being confident in the rapport of the people that you surround yourself with can give yourself some more confidence and putting yourself out there in like a healthy kind of risk way.
As healthy as you can, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I mean, risk is risk, no matter what light you look at it in.
True.
But,
yeah.
Yeah.
It's interesting. Okay. I feel like for me personally, that when I put myself out there creatively, that it takes some significant energy going into it.
Mm-hmm.
And you guys seem to be very tenacious, and that you guys seem to have limitless fuel to keep going.
I mean, if you see us after a 2-hour gig, I think you might disagree with yourself there a little bit. But no, I think maybe it's just the passion when we are playing, like when you light that fire. It's just kind of, it kind of feels itself as we get going. It's and when we work with we've been together for 5 years now, and so there's a confidence knowing how much time we spent together, and we've how am I going to say that? It's like we're so confident in one another and everybody's ability that it's just like, it's almost like our presence, the way that we play, everything's just like an extension of ourselves, like our body. We always we will always go for it.
I guess speaking outside of the just, a 2-hour set or something of that nature, but to be tenacious, more speaking to your point of knowing each other for a really long time, like how do you guys make a project perform that body of work and then do it again? Like, I think there's something very disciplined about that, but I can't quite tell what it is.
It's a process, I think.
Okay.
Yeah, more than anything, it's definitely a process. From the way that we write songs a very unique way. There's no legitimate structure when it comes to our songwriting at all. There's no it's not like a lyrical based or a melody based. It's when our songs manifest, it's like we have songs that we've chiseled away at and taken years to write, and we have other songs that we've had the whole skeleton of a song in a half hour. And
interesting.
It's just a way of feeding off each other, I think, when we through our creative processes. And then we know when we make a song with that's got that mojo in it.
Yeah.
And we just know that, holy cow, when we get to play this song in front of people, they're going to be so stoked.
So are you saying that it's coming from jams together, or could it be different ways and it's more of the connection however the song gets created?
Yeah. There's no set way to how it happens. Sometimes I can be driving to practice and murmuring a lyric, or I can have something in my head before I get there, and I'll just have like this. I'll show up to practice and be like, "This is something I want to say in a song," and Jeff, the lead guitarist, will be like, "Oh, maybe. Well, I was thinking on something like this," and we can construct a song slowly that way. But when it happens out of magic, it's just. Somebody will be playing something. It'll be maybe Trevor's playing a groove on the drums, and everybody's kind of dinkering around in between songs that we're practicing, and everybody goes, stop. What was that? What is that? What are you doing? What are you doing? Oh, I don't know. I just made it up. Oh, okay.
So it's
Do
like
it more?
trusting someone else's intuition and empowering them.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, it's really cool. And that's you look at, you go through our discography or every song that we've had so far. And I could go through the list and go, that started with Joe's riff, that started with Jeff's riff, that started with an idea in my head.
So it's generous too.
Exactly, absolutely, yeah.
Dude.
That's why when we give our song credits on our album, it says Lazy Acres. There's no writer in Lazy Acres. I mean, I come up with the majority of the lyrics, but as far as as far as the song, like constructing the song and everything like that, it is a
Dude, it
whole
sounds
thing.
very collaborative of all you guys
It's pretty sweet,
putting
man.
your mojo together.
Hell yeah. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, if you ever get set up to record 4 people at once, get the whole band on here.
Okay.
It would be an absolute dumpster fire, but it would be a good episode.
Okay, hey, dude, if that works out, I'll take you up on it, dude. Hell yeah. I'm curious, so how does that initial spark, it seems self-explanatory, but also I want to ask, because if there's something specific to it, I don't want to miss it. From the energy that started from the writing process of being very collaborative and generous with each other to that manifesting on the stage, what brings it to fruition, I guess?
I'm gonna put this in a really, really like almost laughably simple way.
Okay.
It's just the excitement of knowing how cool it's gonna sound and how cool the experience is gonna be when we get there. If that makes sense. So like when like you were saying, the fruition from writing it to bringing it on stage, it's and we play a lot of unreleased music too, because we're pretty slow about getting recorded and stuff. Sometimes we like to take our time and make sure.
Cool.
That we have a lot of songs that that probably will never get recorded, and then we have our songs that we play in front of people a lot. And
I
stuff
like that a lot. That's cool that you guys, there's like a juxtaposition there that's really attractive, that you guys can create unbridled and just be excited about it.
Mm-hmm.
And then when getting it down, you guys go much more analytical and thoughtful about it. And that's cool, you guys.
The recording
both.
process is very technical. We like to, and we're not a jam band either. Like when we play our music live, it is the closest manifestation as we can replicate on the album. Because I don't I don't want to say that our lead skills between Jeff and I, we're not like a guitarist that can hear a chord progression and play anything they want over it. The way that we write is it's very deliberate. Like every solo that either one of us play, it is the exact same solo every single time, because that's the only way we know how to play it. You know, like if we were savvy enough to be able to take a solo and run somewhere else with it, you know, maybe we would. And there's a little time that we noodle and stuff. Jeff will get crazy on the wah pedal and start.
Okay.
His finger speed is just funny. Like you can't even see his ring finger moving sometimes. It's fluttering so fast.
A flash if he's got a ring on or something. That's all that's going on.
Yeah, you see a crow like swiping at his hand trying to get his ring.
Oh my God, there you go.
But
so it sounds like that. You guys prepare something very particular that you're excited to show the audience. And that's what fuels you guys.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Yeah.
Dude, okay, that's interesting. Yeah, I think there's a lot of faith in the self and each other to do that. And it has to be consistent. And I think that's really cool that you guys.
And we love we obviously love each other, but like, and care for each other as a group and have so much confidence in one another. But the people that leave their house on a weekend and go out to watch a band. I mean, we play a couple covers, a set maybe, but we play primarily original music.
I like
and
that.
Just the thought of even one person just leaving their house with the sole intent of I'm going to go watch Lazy Acres, like that is so like we love the audience. We love every person in the audience, and because they're. Yeah, just the thought of them devoting their time, even if they're coming to see somebody else that we're on a bill with, it doesn't matter, man. We're gonna use that as an opportunity to say, hey, thank you for coming out. We're gonna completely, we're all like 30 years old. We're gonna blow our knees out, and I'm gonna be sweating like a dog after this show. But you're gonna get every bit of Lazy Acres that you didn't ask for.
Hell yeah, dude.
That's just the way that we. Yeah.
I was just wondering, could you speak on that a little bit further about how you guys connect with the audience at your shows? Because I haven't seen you guys yet, but I'm going to soon.
Oh man, there's a bunch of different things that we do. There's different personas throughout the band that everybody has. Jeff's got he's the most enthusiastic. We're all dads, so except Trevor, but Jeff, he's got a mustache. He wears a flannel shirt, and he in about a quarter of the way through the set, if he even wears it, his hat will fly off his head, and all of a sudden out comes this. He's got this
long mane.
Oh, it's like it's clean cut on the sides, and it's just like 6 inches plus on the top, and he just starts whipping it around and headbanging. And
okay,
and so he's always high energy. His feet leave the stage, both feet full jump like 20 times a show. Like he's jumping off of shit and playing everywhere and stuff. Am I allowed to cuss on this podcast?
Oh, dude, fucking go for it.
Okay,
yeah,
cool.
Yeah.
All right, I just didn't clarify. And then Joseph, he stays over there in the pocket, and he has the bass face. He's grooving the whole time. He's
Bass face, I like that.
He's a really active bass player though, because we like to, when we write music, we like to allow as much creative freedom as everybody wants, as long as the song structure stays. So we all know where we belong, but at the same time,
when the energy is cohesive within the band, but when it's time to party, you guys go for it.
So Joe's got kind of this, he's almost reserved, and then at least once or twice a show, he's got a wireless pack on his bass rig. He'll just take off running. He'll just jump off the stage and just run into the audience and run around.
That's good.
Yeah, it's killer. And then I like just to engage with the audience. I have a little bit of metal in me, like from just like my teenage years going to Warped Tour and stuff. So
cool.
a lot of the times I'll say stuff like, depending on the audience, we do a lot of community events stuff down south. But when we're in a venue, there's a lot of like, are you fucking ready?
Just hyping them up.
You ready to rap? When we know a big part of the song's coming up and stuff like that.
So staying centric to metal. But
Trevor, by the way, too, the drummer.
Yeah,
he's just an absolute maniac the whole time. He's not like a sit in the pocket drummer. He's like, when he hits, it's big.
You can
exaggerated
hear
movements.
Or the tom, the snare and how it sounds in the place.
Absolutely, yeah. So yeah, when he plays drums, he does it with conviction and a passion, and it's really cool to watch.
What I was gonna say about kind of combining heavier music with your previous point about body language. Sometimes at like hardcore shows, I've noticed that like one of two things happens, and either the band is kind of maybe like very introspective, and they're maybe looking at their amps or looking at their hands, and people will kind of just like nod their heads and stand completely still.
Yeah.
Or the band is like swaying, maybe the singer's spinning in circles and maybe crying on the floor, rolling around, and then the audience feels like there's permission to move too. And I bring up that I guess stark comparison because you guys kind of thread the needle on that. It sounds like.
Yeah. We try to. We try to just give everything that we can, and there's a lot of ebbs and flows in our sets too. We always bring it down. We have songs that are really high energy, big guitar. We're a really big guitar band. You know, it's a guitar forward sound. But we have a couple songs a set we like to really bring it down.
I have listened to a couple ballads on your most recent album.
Yeah, the After Work is one that I wrote about my wife, and I'll cry if I can't think about her. If I think about her when I sing that song, dude, I'll be singing like this, you know, little flutters in my voice and stuff.
That's sweet.
It's hilarious. But and then the other one is Simple Answer, which was actually written by a really good friend of ours. That's the one that's not he gave us full writing credit for it, which is I didn't want to, I think he's credited on the album actually, now that I think about it. But you know, he wanted it to be our song.
Part of the Lazy Acres collective spirit.
Exactly.
Dude,
and
like
that song that's the one that I think that connects, because it connects really heavily when we do bring it down.
Cool.
And it has really big moments in it, but it's a song about, you know, it's a song about heartbreak. It's a song about just like, you know, feeling alone. And the end of the chorus is it's "Won't I know that the devil has won." And then at the end of the song, we always drop out and we sing we sing at the end, we sing the last chorus. And
acapella?
Well, yeah.
Ah.
So yeah, the chorus is, "One, I know that the darkness is calling. One, I know that the damage is done. One, I know that my defenses have fallen. And one, I know that the devil has won." And I like to just get that quiet.
Cool.
Just like, let's see if these fuckers are listening.
Do you like the band Rainbow Kitten Surprise by any chance?
I've never heard of it.
Dude,
it
I
sounds
think-
like an ice cream flavor.
Okay. Yeah, judging it by the name, when I first heard it, I was like, what the hell is that? Like, is there gonna be literal rainbows and cats going around? It's like an indie rock folk band, and they have some songs that will go into just a cappella, but everyone in the band is singing, and that's just the image that came to mind of when you were talking about that. Yeah, I think it's really cool when bands can prioritize the moment of the song more important than everyone's specific role going into it.
Yep.
I guess being that you brought up the song about your wife, I was wondering if you could speak a little bit on the other project that you were telling me about a little bit.
Oh, that's Friends for the Ghost.
Friends for the Ghost.
Yeah, originally I would just do my solo gigs, so it'd be Wes Jones, and then we went under the Wes Jones trio. But if you believe it or not, there's two other music playing Wes Joneses from here to King County. And people are confused, and I've had people show up to my shows in cowboy hats and like spurs and stuff, and they're just like, "What the hell is this? We can't line dance to this," you know?
Oh, gotcha.
And so so from that,
that's a good one. That's funny.
We decided to come up with an actual band name, and so that's me, my wife, Carly. She plays the violin and she sings with me, and then I play acoustic guitar, and then my buddy Charlie, plays the electric guitar.
Okay.
And Charlie plays the electric guitar. When I say, like, he's gonna hate me for this, but like, I will bat him up against any guitarist, like, at very least in the Tri-County area, if not the state of Washington. Like, he's one of those guys that when he plays, guitarists get mad.
People are turning heads and hurting their neck trying to look at him. Fingers.
Yeah. You know, like the face when you're just like, you know, like you look like
that
you smell
stank
something.
face.
He gets a lot of that when he plays.
Dude, that's cool.
And so, but it's intertwined with the type of music that's actually relatively, you know, it's got folk notes. It's a heavily Americana, and it's a lot. It's basically the original songs that I wrote that never a lot of them that never made it into the Lazy Acres,
Just out of curiosity, is that because that you felt that the genre or maybe the instrumentation would be optimized with a better or like a better setup for serving those specific songs?
Yeah, it does.
Okay.
It really.
Softer?
Yes,
Okay.
definitely softer. I could sing a like I said earlier. Lazy Acres is tapped out at 2 hours. We do 3 hour shows, but it's we leave it all out there when we play, and there's a lot of yelling, and a lot of it's a lot more intense. Friends for the Ghost is the yin to its yang. It's a lot. It's a lot softer notes, a lot softer toned, and it's it's just more along that Americana sound.
Okay.
And there's a lot of songs that I'd written that never made it into the Lazy Acres bracket. And then after I started playing with Charlie and Carly, Charlie, he's one of those guitarists that's so good that everybody wants him in their band, But he's had very few opportunities to have a band that was his.
Charlie?
Charlie,
I think I know this Charlie. Dude, hell yeah.
you might know him.
These guys got long hair?
Yeah.
Dude, yeah.
He played with
He might bring 2 amps sometimes.
That's Charlie.
Yeah,
that's
dude, I
Charlie,
like Charlie a lot.
He loves running stereo.
Hell yeah. Cool.
Yeah, but yeah, so anyways, it's so him having the ability to like, right when we started this project and started playing music together, I was like, I'm going to slow down. I don't want to play any more solo gigs, and don't want to step on Lazy Acres' toes either, because that's, like I said, that's my main squeeze.
Yeah.
And we want to give like all the I want to have full and undivided effort towards Lazy Acres, but there's a lot of time in lieu when you're not doing, when there's time for other projects or it's in between booking and stuff like that. And so we just started playing together, and it was just an opportunity to play music with my wife, which took a long time to do. She wasn't just like right when we got together. It's been 9 years ago and she wasn't a big fan of playing as much as she was. Like when she was in high school, she played a lot of music, and then she did like choirs and operas through college and stuff like that. But wasn't stoked on being in a band or anything like that, and so it was like slowly chipped away. Like got her to play with me, then we go, okay, well, let's play some music together. And then finally she's like, oh, can I? Well, if you did one of those videos like you do, I'd play with you in one. I'm like, yes.
That's
next
cool.
level achieved. And then one day she's just like, I'd play a show with you. And I was like, yes.
The energy just won her over.
Yeah,
That's
exactly,
awesome.
yeah.
Cool.
And so we played together. The group actually formed after we had Sunny, which was in November in 23. We had Sunny, or 22. I mean, we had Sunny.
Yes, congratulations.
Thank you very
formally.
much. Thank you. But yeah, so it was just I would play with Charlie or I would play with her. We never really played as a trio.
Okay.
And so then after Sunny was born, we just started playing together. And then,
Cool.
it just manifested into this thing. And we played a couple of shows last year where it's like, man, it would be nice to have a rhythm section. Not all the time, because we like to play as a trio. There's something special about being, like an intimate musical group.
So speaking on that point of intimacy, there's something that I don't doubt for a second that being together with other people, that it brings the oomph up and like brings the courage and mojo and passion for the project. But I feel like that is coming largely from you. So I'm curious when you're playing for that period of time when you were playing with Lazy Acres, but doing your softer side before adding the 2 additional band members, how would you carry that passion and that consistent drive into it?
I guess rather than just allowing the gods of rock and roll to be at my back, I would find it through different. It would. I guess. I call it. There's certain times when you can have the grit. There's a local artist that named Bradford Loomis that I've followed for a really long time. He's no longer local. He's in Nashville now, but he was one of the first people that I'd seen play solo acoustic, and I didn't even know that was a thing until I'd been in a couple of groups. I didn't know that singer-songwriter, like I thought it was, a guy quietly humming over a microphone in a coffee shop. I didn't know that somebody could fill a room with just a guitar and voice.
Yeah, yeah.
And we seen him live, and for the first time, and I mean, he just shook the room with his vocals, and he played he played the hell out of an acoustic guitar, which was something I've always prided myself on doing. And so when I started, I was hemming and hawing about my previous band breaking up, and Carly said, "You don't need a band; just go out and do what Brad does. Go play some shows." And so through that, I realized that the ebbs and flows that are in the rock group are still consistent in the solo act as well.
What does that mean?
So when it's time to smash your guitar and hit the hell out of it and play a big swelly chorus with you screaming into a microphone, that's still allowed. But when you drop it down and you get intimate and you get quiet, I feel like the contrast is just a lot bigger, if that makes sense, because the effort and and what you're putting into it as you're playing those big parts and the amount that you can subtract when you get to those quiet parts I feel like it's a bigger gap, if that makes sense. And then I feel like
I hear you're saying the dynamics can be more extreme because you're in control of how low you drop it and how bright you bring it.
Yeah, and then also with the intimacy of my songwriting, I felt like was a lot of the growing as a musician, being able to write about stuff that put you out there more, made you more vulnerable to
Interesting,
what you're saying. It's that was definitely a big part of it. Just accepting the fact that I'm gonna write songs about stuff that that I go through that might make some people might only want to hear about sunshine and rainbows, but other times a lot of people don't. And as I've grown as a musician and as a music enthusiast and grown to be a part of a community, I've realized that the people that like the sad songs and like that stuff is a lot bigger than I initially thought it was. And so I guess all in all, the being able to make it big and then bring it down and be intimate and vulnerable.
Cool. Yeah. Okay. So it provides a whole nother side to what you're expressing, and then also you still get the dynamics within a band setup.
Yeah.
Solo.
It's also you being very, very technical with the guitar usage. When there's different level, like I was saying with levels, there's your general middle of the road, you're playing a song, and then you can pick play 4 chord strings, play lighter stuff, and then that way when you get to the end chorus where it's the biggest part of the song, you can use your guitar, you can beat the hell out of it for a little bit.
So kind of it's a personal question that I've had. Briefly speaking, before this, we both share a love for the Honeymoon. Mm-hmm. Shout out to the Honeymoon, great place.
Absolutely.
I performing open mic there. I've noticed when it's a busy night, and maybe it's a little bit later, people will start talking and stuff. And I felt like if I can win over that first table right in front of the room, because everyone has to look over them to see you. And if they're engaged, then you have the chance to win over the whole room.
Yeah.
I was kind of wondering, what words of wisdom do you have in regards to playing intimately to a larger space?
You brought up almost an exact point, winning them over. And a lot of the times if you're in a larger group with people that aren't engaged, it's a lot harder. And depending on what the event is too, if you're in an open mic, the one advantage is that everybody is there for whatever reason. It's focused around music.
Everyone has a little skin on their neck.
Exactly.
Because they're going to perform, or they just did perform.
Exactly. So that at least the room is full of music enthusiasts. I've done events at like banquets and stuff like that, and it's back when I did solo gigs, I would take anything at first just to get started. And you'd go to places where that's not why people were there, and you'd have old ladies turn around, tell you to be quiet and stuff like that. But what I always say is, there's always going to be one person. There's always going to be one person that's going to look at you and is going to be listening. And I've always found so much joy in that. If I can find 1, 2, 3, 4 people that are engaged, that are listening, then fuck all those other people for that time being. I'm going to play to those people that are looking at me.
Cool.
And if you can see that and you can see that engagement, you'll feed off it, and you're going to start playing. I feel like you're going to do your best work because you'll be able to get that response that you want.
That's cool.
And
Interesting.
another one is I like to bring up my buddy Cascade Cody. He has a song called Northwest Railroad Line, and it starts big, and it's a big, probably, I don't know, 10, 15 second note right at the beginning. I was born, and he just hits it, and he'll just eat that microphone, and he'll just blast it into that room, and it doesn't matter who you are or what you're doing. You're gonna look for whatever reason you have, but you're gonna be looking over at whatever direction he's at because he's the one. It's just such a big thing to
So
do.
there's
right
like
at the beginning.
two contrasting points I heard. One was play to the person in the room who's there with you in
Yeah.
a metaphysical sense, and then the other one is play for you.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah. And I have those moments too, but mine are typically at the end of a song. So, I will do
Okay.
that thing. I'll look for those guys and gals or everybody that's looking at me. And if I can see them and play to them, then I'll say, okay, all right, this is for you. And then I'll wait for that big moment at the end of the song. And then it's just, this is for everybody that wants to hear, or that's going to hear it.
Okay.
I did it in the Honeymoon a few times.
Hell yeah, cool.
I had a song called Smoke and Fire, and it was on Lacey Acres' Regrettable album, our first album. But it was the end of it is just like super high note. I mean, like power metal. Like,
Okay, hell
just
yeah,
like
cool.
I don't sing like that anymore, but I would do it with acoustic, and I did it in a Honeymoon. And I mean, everybody just stopped. Whoa, what the hell is that guy doing?
That's funny.
Yeah, it's like if I can at least get 3 seconds here of everybody in this room's time.
For another singer-songwriter question, like I've been in the, like, at least for me it feels awkward scenario where you're playing to the room and you might not be able to find that person who's looking, and maybe it's maybe it's me, maybe it's the room, the energy in it, that it's turned to a rambunctious eve and everyone's just chit chatting and stuff.
The roar.
Can you can you carve through the roar? Like, I don't know.
I mean, there's always going to be those rooms that you're just not that there's nobody in them that has any interest in listening to.
How do you even deal with that headspace wise and not go, well, I'm going to finish this song and then, I'm going to go outside and sit on the patio for 5-10 minutes and then enter back in.
And not saying I haven't done that. There's
Okay.
been plenty of frustrating gigs where you just like, it's like a puzzle. I got to walk away from this for a little bit so I can come back in and look at the pieces and be able to find.
Yeah,
You know what I'm
okay,
saying?
interesting,
Yeah. I need a fresh set of eyes on this.
So looking at the puzzle in hindsight, when you're in that situation, is there anything to do when the room is doing its thing? And
I want to say something that hurts my soul a little bit, but it's true. And if you have the tool in your back pocket and you want to captivate people and there's no other option, just sell your soul for a song or two and just do like a cover. I know it sucks, but like I've had to do that before and say, this room doesn't like me. They obviously they aren't here for music. I'm playing at a restaurant. Like, why they're not listening for music anyways. But I bet if I play some Garth Brooks right now, these guys are going to start looking at me. And, or like House of the Rising Sun, or just one of those, like the covers I'd never play these days, but, just something that, somebody likes.
Even though that is a solemn point of just to pull out a crowd pleaser for I don't want to go as far as saying cheap affirmation, but like instant affirmation.
It is, yeah.
I admire that. I feel the same way that you feel, in the sense that I really just want to hear original music. Like, I want to hear a little piece of something that someone is proud to share.
Absolutely. That's what it's all about. And I feel like when you play at venues and you play at, even if it's just an open mic, everybody that's there is there for that.
Yes.
Yeah. And there's just venues out there. There's gigs that you will book that you'll have a rambunctious business owner that says, "Oh, we need music. Music definitely needs to be there this evening." It could be You could have a DJ in the back of the room sitting on his phone and just playing a Spotify playlist, and it would make no difference to the group of people.
Yeah.
And a lot of the times I feel like it's, there's going to be those gigs. And yeah, at that time, if you're getting paid for it, it happens to Lazy Acres. I mean, still we'll have an off show every once in a while. You know, we got booked for a festival on a Sunday one time when everybody was packing up and going home. And, you just kind of look at each other. You think to yourself, at very least, this is giving me an opportunity to, one, sing into a microphone, and two, you're playing in a place that's outside of your comfort zone. So even if you aren't winning anybody over, there's still good that can come from it. You're still not leaving.
Exercise.
You're still not leaving the woods empty-handed at the end of the day, because you'll probably get a very humble paycheck, and you still will be singing outside of your normal space into some sort of amplification. So,
what would be like the ideal setup for live original music to be shared with the audience?
Oh, now,
within practical reasons.
I would think a venue that doesn't leave a lot of other options, as far as to like the room is centered around the stage. Think of the Blue Room, for example, is a perfect spot, or Honeymoon.
True.
Honeymoon's another one.
Have you been to? I don't know what it's called. There's a special name for it, but it's the back room of the Orion Bar in town, in Bellingham, Washington. It's like,
I don't know if I've been to the Orion.
It's honestly kind of like a college kid bar, but behind it there's this. It's still, you enter in the same door. It's this big old timey. It looks like the room in The Shining where he's like drinking alone, like a ballroom, old timey. And it's centered around this stage, and there's like stage lights that go onto it, and it's it's like a beer hall centered around a stage, and it's describing exactly what you're talking about.
Exactly, something that's centered. I mean, a theater is obviously the most ideal, but it's the most unrealistic also, unless you have a really small theater, which Bellingham happens to have a really small theater, which is nice. But like
Baker Theater, cool.
Yeah, the New Prospect.
New Prospect.
Yeah, that's another one. It's just like a really, really small space, but every chair is pointed at you. There's no
so a little bit elevated. Maybe like there might be a foot or two rise to where the band's playing.
Yeah, that's a big one too. Especially if you're in a space that's not designed for it. We talked a local bar owner down in Cedar Woolley into doing that, and I was like, "You want to have people here? Just give me 12 inches to be above people, or at least be the same height as some of those guys out there,
Yeah. Just need one dude in a hat and a crazy hairdo, and 5 people are missing the show.
Exactly. So, I think that would be a really good one, a riser, and just good enough acoustics to be heard. But just making sure that the stage is the focal point, I think, would be the main thing.
Okay, I think that's
it all comes down to the people, though. If people want to come out and listen to music, they're going to come out and listen to music. If they want to come out and talk with their friends, they're going to come out and talk with their friends. I played a show at rest in peace, the Woolley Market in Cedar Woolley, and they had music every like Thursday or Friday or something in the summers. And it was one of my first gigs with a previous group of mine. And we started sound checking, and we had live drums. And my drummer at the time didn't even hit that hard. And he checked his drums, and this lady sitting right in front, I mean, she was like 4 feet from me. And she just looks at me and says, "If I can't sit here and talk to my friend, I'm not having a good time." And the rock and roll just came out of me. And I was like, "Well, you probably should fucking leave, because it's going to be really loud."
Oh, my goodness.
And then the owner came up to me. He's like, "Hey, man, you can't be just chasing out patrons, brother." I said, "I guarantee you the people that are going to come here and want to watch us are going to drink twice as much beer as that old lady."
Dude, there we go. Dude,
it was great. And it ended up being a great night. And there was we packed it. There was probably 100 people there. And it turned out to be that at the end, the bar owners, it was actually a market, which was weird, but he came up and thanked us and was like, "Hey man, that was an awesome show." And I was like, "We just had to get rid of the old people." And he's like, "Let's say we had to weed out the less devoted." And I was like, "I will use that from now on." We had to weed out the less devoted.
I like the unapologetic confidence that's going into it, but undeniably generous at the same time.
Absolutely.
Dude, that's cool.
It's because there's people that are there that deserve what they're there for. You know, they deserve to get that experience of watching the music. And then there's people the you know, there's always going to be the talkers and stuff, but there's the people that are there for other reasons that can take from that, just for the sole fact of, you know, not wanting to go out and watch music, which is the difference in my mind between a bar and a venue, because there's, you know, you can play music at a bar, but it's not going to be a venue. If you play music at a venue that's designed for music,
The people are there
that's
to
why
watch it and not there to enjoy. There even might be one over for a minute. you know?
exactly, yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
What is next for? Or actually, I guess instead of going into what's next, I kind of want a recap of the things to take away. So we talked about a bunch of things, but the people that you play with and being generous with them creatively and just creating all the ideas with them, that's really important to your process.
Absolutely. I mean, I can write a good song on my own, but so many times have I been humbled by the people that I'm surrounded with musically. I have an idea in my head. This is exactly how this song's going to sound. I know exactly how this song's going to sound. And by the time it comes out the other end and the band has their hands on it, it is so different. It is not even similar, and it's so much better than I thought I would have
like
made
that.
it. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
It
yeah.
happens so much. Our drummer and Friends for the Ghost, he did we had this song that was, it was just a straightforward, like there was no swing to it or anything. It was a finger picking song, and there was no swing at all. And he threw a swing on it. And when we started playing, I'm like, what the hell are you doing? And then like probably 10 seconds later, I'm going,
There
just
we go.
swinging my head with it,
Yeah.
going, shit, this is cool. You know? Yeah, and Lazy Acres, we do that every song I've ever brought to them. We play the first album that we put out was a lot of music that I had already had written that the band had made, you know, theirs. But the second album, the Front Porch album, that is a Lazy Acres
Cool.
album, you know.
So celebrating the intuition of the people that you're sharing music with.
Absolutely.
Dude, cool.
I don't believe that's the coolest part about having a real band. A real band is a group of people that believe in each other. It's not I mean, obviously, you know, a front person that has a very popular name can have a very good band. Obviously, I'm not saying that, but I think the cool thing about the grassroots like approach of like having something that's cultivated from the ground up as a group, and to have that when it comes into the creative process, it just makes something cool. And I think that you can tell the difference between those bands and the bands that have one guy that says, hey, you do this type of thing.
I like the way you said that a lot. And I think that's very apparent of when you're watching a band perform or even just listening to them and can kind of tell what kind of band it is. Yeah, dude. And then we're talking about singer-songwriter stuff and about how you can embody the dynamics even more contrastingly, but out of like a weird self-awareness kind of way. Like you can create those high moments with more dramatic effect. When I don't want to say more dramatic effect, but maybe more intimately so.
Yeah, the high moments, like I said when I was talking about Brad, it's the grit, man.
The grit.
For me personally, everybody has there are the guitarists out there that can do something so cool with their hands that it's going to make everybody look at them. There's the singers that can hit the highest notes in the world. They can make everything do for it, or they can make everybody look at them. But there's when you can just grit your teeth and just go.
Could you define the grit for me?
It's I guess to say it like quaintly, it would be like artistic effort, if that makes sense. Like,
okay, I was thinking like raw emotion. That's a little off.
It is.
Okay.
It is. So it's like, you basically you're going for it. You know, you're hitting your guitar, you're yelling into the mic, and it might be a little sloppy at times, but at the same time,
It clicked for me. It's I can definitely at the honeymoon when I see someone perform sometimes that they have prepared the song, they're going into whatever section it may be, but they lean into it from a performance place, but also with a lot of emotion that they're expressing through that.
Exactly.
Okay, that's great.
And
Interesting. Cool.
That still exists with the band too, which is a beautiful thing about it. But it definitely has a different.
You have to hold on to the ship metaphorically to make
Exactly,
sure you
yeah,
don't,
yeah,
you know,
yeah.
express yourself out of this
Yeah.
earth.
it's sometimes if we're in the moment, it's just all four of us doing it.
Cool.
And that's it. There's big moments, and we have a lot of the song I was referring to earlier, the Simple Answer. There's moments where it's quiet, but it's counting in, and we all need to hit at the same time. So Trevor back on the drums, he'll do something that the audience can't hear, but we can hear.
Oh, okay.
And so, to
cool.
bring us together, and then that way when you're just waiting for it, okay, the count's coming in. You can just hear it count in, and then just
cool.
just smash it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's cool.
So I like that there's that element of trust in playing with people and also playing by yourself that has to be there to be intimate with the audience of what you've created.
Mm-hmm.
That's cool.
There's and like when it all circles back to the confidence, to know that know what you're doing is worthwhile, and know what you're doing is worth showing people. And so that makes it the grid a little bit easier. You're like, I know this part of the song is cool. Yeah, some people might think I'm having having a seizure up here, but some people think I'm so other people are listening. They know what's going on.
So this might seem self-explanatory to you, but for people akin to me, or maybe somewhere in between, if there's something that you believe in, but you're maybe not confident on, what advice would you have to that person? Could it be learned?
I mean, I think that if it's something that who said it best? Lil Wayne said it best.
A confident man.
He said, "Repetition is the father of learning." And son, I know your barrel burning, but please don't shoot me down. No, he didn't say it. But the repetition is the father of learning. If there's something that you want to do, you just have to practice it. If you practice something enough and enough times, there's no way that it won't at least be honed to the best of your ability.
Okay. I think this might have came out of a conversation with Marty of the Blue Room that I think he was talking about in regards to learning musical instruments, that he was saying that practice doesn't make perfect, but it makes permanent.
Yeah.
And I think that if you know that you're going to be able to deliver the same way as you did, in your bedroom, out of muscle memory, confidence is going to be a byproduct of that.
Absolutely. Yeah. You know that what you're going to be able, you know that, where your fingers need to go, where you need to, what you need to say, it needs to, it's definitely, it definitely comes down to that.
And it'll get sharper over time, regardless of the
Exactly.
craft. Okay.
Yeah. The fact that Jeff can fly around the stage like he doesn't even hit a note on the guitar is a total tribute to that. I mean, the man, being able to play the guitar and move around like that, it's just because he knows he doesn't need to be looking at his hands. He doesn't need to be. He's focusing on doing parkour on the stage. Rather, he's gonna hit those notes.
Hell yeah.
And it's just that's a beauty. There's a beauty to that. Just time and effort.
I like that, and it's simple, but it's perfect to put in my pocket and take it with me everywhere.
Absolutely.
And I guess then the last thing that we were talking about was ideal places for music, and a place that's centered around a stage that's got maybe a little bit elevation, and that people are there to see music.
Exactly. That
Cool.
you can never replace somebody's you can never replace the passion of wanting to see it with anything. I mean, you can have I guess technically you could have a theater full of people that don't want to look at the stage, which would be really odd, but and you could have, I've played other places where it's not an ideal setting, but everybody in that room is there because they want to watch the show.
Yeah.
And it's having that ideal setup definitely helps the confidence.
Yeah.
I've showed up to gigs before with where you're like, oh, I guess we're playing on the floor, and then all of a sudden the owner walks out and he's got hand truck with like a bunch of boards on it. You're like, what's that? And he's like, oh, it's a stage. I'm gonna put together a stage for you real quick. And then all of a sudden we got a 12-inch riser. We're like, hell yeah, we're rocking and rolling now.
One thing that just compounds that we were talking about, put 12 inches up, you can see many more eyes.
That's it, yeah.
A lot more opportunities to connect with that person, connect with different people.
We were talking about earlier.
Yeah, dude,
absolutely.
that's really cool.
Yeah.
I like that.
You can always find somebody.
Yeah.
You can always find somebody. They might be outside, but there's always somebody that you can find. You know, might be a doorman. It might be the Seattle venues. They're brutal, man. It's like you're playing. A lot of the times, to get a bill at one of those places, you got to be famous if you want to play a Saturday. Like a Saturday, are you crazy? You know, you'll get like a Monday night or something like that. I think
the supply and demand is just steeper the more people you pack in a concrete box.
Exactly, yeah. And so, yeah, we've had the couple times that we've played down there, it's been for not much people, but, you know, as you're walking out, the door guy's like, hey, man, that was a sick set. And you're like,
dude,
yes, I got one of them. I got one of them.
And he's watching so many.
Yeah,
you know, every
exactly,
week.
Yeah.
I'm curious, what is next for you and Lazy Acres?
Well, so for Lazy Acres, we are currently working on our third album right now. And we have a lot of shows coming up. We have an exciting summer getting booked out. Justin is in charge of all the booking and everything, and well, him and Jeff. But he's putting together a hell of a summer for us. Friends for the Ghost is going to be having. We're just getting started, but we have a album release party coming up on March 16th down in Conway. If you've ever been, you remember that Ideal venue I was talking about?
Yeah.
There's a place called the Conway Muse. And it has a loft stage. It was an old barn that they repurposed into a venue. And the top is a loft. And in the loft, there's a bunch of tables and chairs. And there's the stage at the front of it.
Okay.
And
I gotta go.
You have to do March 16th. I'll throw you on the guest list, man.
Dude, cool.
Yeah, it'll be sweet. So, yeah, we have that coming out. And then basically we're going to, whatever's left over after Justin and Jeff get booking, we'll just pencil in dates here and there for Friends for the Ghost. And either way, there's going to be very few free weekends. That's for sure. It's going to be devoted to music this year.
I think it sounds really optimistic, personally creative, and also collectively exciting for the community and also for the band. Yeah. That it's going to be a busy spring and summer.
Absolutely. I mean, if you were in a band that had to sit through 2020, it's everything that's every summer after that we've been able to play is just like. It's like you just feel free again. You know, you're like, I'm allowed to, let's go for it. Let's do everything we can. So we've been building back up, and yeah, Lazy Acres, we're looking at festivals and stuff this year, which is just that next level of coolness and shows. You know, we'll still play our usual spots, and we love playing venues and stuff. We specifically love the Blue Room, and but yeah, we will be able to have that opportunity to actually showcase ourselves to a little bit broader of an audience.
Dude, I'm excited for all the good things to come. That sounds super dope.
It's gonna be a sweet year, dude.
I just wanted to say thank you again for coming on, and this is really, really cool.
Thank you again for having me.
All right.